Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a look at a horrible case with you. The tragic case of Laci Peterson. A comprehensive overview. In the annals of American crime, few cases have garnered as much attention and public intrigue as the murder of Laci Peterson and her unborn son, Connor Peterson. This case, unfolding in the early 2000s, is a complex and tragic narrative involving themes of love, betrayal, and a relentless quest for justice. At the core of this disturbing story lies the death of Laci Peterson and the subsequent trial of her husband, Scott Peterson, whose alleged actions shocked and captivated the nation. Laci Rocha Peterson was born on May 4, 1975, in Sunnyvale, California, to Sharon and Dennis Rocha. She was the elder of two children, with a younger brother named Brent. Laci's parents were high school sweethearts who instilled strong family values in their children. The Rocha family was close-knit and loving, with a strong emphasis on tradition and community. Laci grew up in a happy and supportive environment, surrounded by loving parents and a close-knit community. She attended elementary school in Modesto, California, where she developed a passion for sports, especially softball and cheerleading. Laci was a bright and curious student, always eager to learn and explore new interests. Laci attended Downey High School in Modesto, where she excelled academically and athletically. She was a popular student, known for her kindness, empathy, and beauty. Laci was active in school clubs and organizations, including the cheerleading squad and the school corps. After high school, Laci attended California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo, where she studied to be a teacher. She was a dedicated student, always putting her studies first. Laci was also active in campus life, joining sororities and participating in volunteer work. It was during her college years that Laci met Scott Peterson. Scott Lee Peterson was born on October 24, 1972, in San Diego, California, to Lee and Jacqueline Peterson. He grew up in a middle-class family with one younger sister, Ann Bird. Scott's parents were high school sweethearts who instilled strong family values in their children. He attended elementary school in San Diego before moving to Modesto, California, with his family in the late 1980s. Scott was a good student and athlete at Bayer High School in Modesto, playing basketball and football. After high school, Scott attended California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo, where he studied agricultural business. He was an average student but excelled in sports, playing basketball and football. During college, Scott worked part-time jobs to support himself, including a stint as a fertilizer salesman. Soon, they started dating, and their relationship quickly became serious. Scott was charming, attentive, and romantic, sweeping Laci off her feet. They shared similar interests, values, and goals, and their friends and family thought they were perfect for each other. During their courtship, Scott showered Laci with gifts, flowers, and affection. He was possessive and jealous. But Laci saw this as a sign of his love and devotion. Scott introduced Laci to his family, and they welcomed her with open arms. Scott and Laci got married on August 9, 1997, in a beautiful outdoor ceremony in Modesto. Their friends and family described the wedding as magical and perfect. The couple settled into a comfortable routine, with Scott working as a fertilizer salesman and Laci teaching at a local elementary school. Initially, their marriage seemed happy and fulfilling. They traveled, spent time with friends and family, and built a life together. However, signs of trouble began to emerge. As time passed, the honeymoon phase of Scott and Laci's marriage began to wear off. Scott's possessiveness and jealousy, which Laci had once seen as romantic, now felt suffocating. He would question her about every interaction with other men, no matter how innocent. Laci started to feel trapped and alone, like she was walking on eggshells around Scott. Meanwhile, Scott's infidelity continued. He would often go on business trips, and Laci would later discover that he had been with other women during those trips. She confronted him, but Scott would deny everything, telling her she was paranoid and insecure. Here's a continuation of how Laci discovers Scott's affair with Amber Free the massage therapist. On December 2002, Laci was 8 months pregnant and preparing for the arrival of their son Connor. She was busy with work and taking care of herself, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong in her marriage. One day, while cleaning the house, Laci stumbled upon a phone number on Scott's phone bill. She recognized the area code as being from Fresno, where Scott had been on a business trip a few weeks earlier. Curious, Laci decided to call the number. A woman answered, and Laci asked to speak to Scott. The woman, who later identified herself as Amber Free, told Laci that Scott was not available. Laci sensed something was off and asked Amber who she was. Amber hesitated, then revealed that she was Scott's girlfriend. Laci was devastated. She felt like her world had been turned upside down. She confronted Scott, who denied everything, telling her that Amber was just a friend. But Laci knew what she had heard, and she knew that Scott was lying. Over the next few days, Laci investigated further, discovering emails and text messages between Scott and Amber. She realized that Scott had been leading a double life, and that their entire marriage had been a lie. On the morning of December 24, 2002, Laci Peterson vanished from their home. Scott Peterson reported her missing later that day, stating that she had disappeared while he was out fishing in San Francisco Bay. The timing of her disappearance, coinciding with the Christmas holiday, heightened the urgency and media interest in the case. Despite extensive searches involving thousands of volunteers, law enforcement agencies, and significant media coverage, Laci remained missing, and clues about her whereabouts were elusive. As weeks turned into months, the search for Laci continued without resolution. However, in early April 2003, nearly 4 months after Laci's disappearance, a significant breakthrough occurred. Fishermen discovered the bodies of a woman and a male fetus washed ashore in the San Francisco Bay, not far from where Scott Peterson had claimed to have been fishing. The bodies were subsequently identified as Laci and Connor Peterson. The discovery was a pivotal moment in the case, leading investigators to focus their attention on Scott Peterson. The bodies were found in a state that suggested they had been in the water for an extended period. Forensic examinations revealed that Laci's death was a homicide, and Connor's death resulted from fetal demise due to the violent circumstances of his mother's murder. This evidence was critical in shaping the investigation and trial. As the investigation into Laci's disappearance and death progressed, Scott Peterson's behavior came under intense scrutiny. His interactions with the media, his demeanor during interviews, and inconsistencies in his account of the events leading up to Laci's disappearance raised red flags. The police investigation uncovered several troubling aspects of Scott's life. One significant revelation was Scott's affair with Amber Free, a massage therapist he had been dating secretly. Free's involvement added a complex layer to the case, as it suggested a motive for Scott's alleged actions. The affair became a central focus of the investigation, with Free cooperating with authorities and providing crucial testimony about her relationship with Scott. Additionally, investigators discovered that Scott had made a $15,000 cash withdrawal from an account shortly before Laci's disappearance. This transaction led authorities to suspect that Scott might have been planning to flee. Further examination revealed discrepancies in his account of his whereabouts and movements on the day Laci disappeared. These inconsistencies, combined with the forensic evidence, built a case against Scott Peterson. In April 2003, Scott Peterson was arrested and charged with the murders of his wife and unborn son. The arrest was met with mixed reactions, as the case had garnered significant media attention and public interest. The trial of Scott Peterson began on June 1, 2004, and quickly became a media spectacle. The prosecution's case was built on the theory that Scott had murdered Laci and Connor to pursue a new life with Amber Free. Key evidence presented by the prosecution included Scott's inconsistent statements, forensic evidence placing him near the scene of the crime, and testimony from Amber Free about their affair. The prosecution argued that Scott's actions were premeditated and that he had carefully planned Laci's murder to escape his marital commitments and start a new life with Free. It painted a picture of Scott as a deceitful husband who was willing to go to extreme lengths to fulfill his personal desires. The defense, led by attorney Mark Geragos, countered by arguing that the case against Scott was largely circumstantial. They questioned the integrity of the investigation and the handling of evidence. The defense also suggested that the prosecution's case was based on media-driven assumptions and lacked concrete proof linking Scott directly to the murders. Throughout the trial, the media coverage was intense, with daily updates and analyses of the proceedings. The case captivated the public's attention, with many following the trial closely and forming strong opinions about Scott Peterson's guilt or innocence. On November 12, 2004, Scott Peterson was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, one for Laci Peterson and one for their unborn son Connor. The verdict was met with a mixture of relief and sorrow, as the case had brought to light the tragic loss of a young woman and her unborn child. The trial and conviction highlighted the complexities of the criminal justice system and the challenges of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The sentencing phase of the trial began on February 21, 2005. Scott Peterson was sentenced to death, a decision that marked the culmination of a case that had garnered widespread attention and had a profound impact on the Peterson family and the community. Peterson was placed on death row at San Quentin State Prison, where he would remain for many years. The case continued to evoke public interest, with various legal challenges and appeals. In 2020, the California Supreme Court overturned Peterson's death sentence, citing errors in jury selection. The ruling highlighted the complexities of the legal process and the potential for procedural errors to impact high-profile cases. Despite the overturning of his death sentence, Scott Peterson remained imprisoned, and his case continued to be a focal point for discussions about criminal justice and capital punishment. The legal battles surrounding Peterson's conviction underscored the ongoing debate about the death penalty and the broader implications of criminal justice reform. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel. There are many shocking stories ahead of you.